Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment a life where nothing ever bothers you, where the challenges of the world don't send you spiraling, where setbacks don't shake your confidence, and where every obstacle is viewed not as a problem, but as a stepping stone. The truth is, we all face obstacles. Every day, the world presents us with challenges, distractions, and difficulties. However, how we choose to face them determines our success and peace of mind. The first key to mastering this is understanding that the mind is your greatest asset. Your ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and reactions is directly linked to the success you achieve. Remember, it's not the circumstances that define you, but how you choose to react to them. To act as if nothing bothers you, you must first develop self-control. This is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about understanding them, managing them, and choosing your actions in a way that aligns with your highest goals. Every time you allow frustration, anger, or stress to control your actions, you give up a piece of your power. Instead, you must cultivate the ability to respond, not react. Reaction comes from impulse, from emotion, and from a place of weakness. Response, on the other hand, comes from a place of strength, choice, and control. The greatest leaders of all time weren't those who avoided conflict, but those who chose how to handle it. They understood that the world might throw obstacles in their path, but how they responded was what truly defined their success. Your perception is your reality. It is the lens through which you see the world. If you look at every challenge as an insurmountable hurdle, then that's exactly what it will be. But if you see it as an opportunity for growth, you will rise above it, each time stronger and wiser. When nothing bothers you, you see each obstacle as a test of your resilience, not a reason to give up. You must also understand that you cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can control how you respond. By detaching yourself from the world's chaos, you preserve your inner peace. Your happiness does not depend on external circumstances. Your happiness depends entirely on your attitude toward those circumstances. Build your emotional resilience like a muscle. Just as you wouldn't expect to lift heavy weights without first training your body, don't expect to handle life's challenges without training your mind. Strengthen your emotional resilience through practice, through affirmations, through focusing on solutions instead of problems, through focusing on progress instead of setbacks. Finally, remember this: the energy you put into the world is what comes back to you. If you walk through life acting as if nothing bothers you, calm, composed, and confident, this energy will attract similar energy back to you. The more you embody peace, the more peace will surround you. So, today, make the choice to act as if nothing bothers you. Choose to be the master of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Be unshakable in the face of adversity. And as you walk through the world with a calm mind and a focused spirit, you will find that the world itself will begin to align with your peace. The mind is the gateway through which all success must pass. Everything you will ever achieve begins first in thought. Before a single brick is laid, before a single dollar is earned, before a single step is taken, there is an idea, a thought, a vision. And the quality of that thought determines the outcome that follows. To master your mindset is to take the reins of your life. It means no longer allowing circumstances, people, or fleeting emotions to dictate the direction of your day. It means training your mind to think constructively, to dwell on possibilities instead of problems, and to look inward for direction instead of outward for validation. When you master your mindset, you stop being a passenger in life. You become the driver. You no longer hope for peace. You create it. You don't wait for motivation, you generate it. You don't pray for strength in hard times, you already possess it because you've trained your mind to stay calm in the storm. This mastery begins with awareness. You must become intimately familiar with the thoughts that occupy your mind. What do you say to yourself when no one else is around? Do you feed your faith or your fear? Do you see challenge and shrink or see challenge and rise? The answers to those questions define the state of your mindset. Thoughts are like seeds. What you plant, you will eventually harvest. If you allow negativity, doubt, and frustration to take root, they will grow into fear, stagnation, and failure. But if you plant discipline, belief, and focus, you will reap success, clarity, and power. Every moment you spend thinking is a moment spent creating, and what you create internally, you will eventually experience externally. Mindset mastery is not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about catching the negative thought before it grows into a negative emotion. It's about redirecting your mind toward what serves you, not what sabotages you. It's about building mental strength day after day so that when life tests you, your mind does not falter or break, but holds steady like a fortress of steel. Self-reliance is the governor of greatness. It is the invisible force behind every powerful decision, every dignified silence, and every strategic action. It is what separates those who react from those who respond, those who chase impulse from those who follow purpose. Without self-control, even the most talented individual becomes a victim of emotion, easily swayed by circumstances, led astray by momentary feelings that pass as quickly as they come. To develop self-control is to understand that your emotions are real, but they are not always right. They are signals, not commands. Anger may rise, but you do not have to act on it. Fear may whisper, but you do not have to obey. Impatience may urge you to move, but wisdom knows when to wait. Self-control is the space between impulse and action, and within that space lies the power to change the course of your destiny. It requires discipline to pause when everything inside you is telling you to react. It takes strength to walk away when pride demands you to confront. And it takes clarity to remain still in moments of chaos. But the one who controls himself does not just control his emotions, he controls his outcome. Because no matter how wild the storm outside, if the captain of the ship is calm, the vessel stays its course. Self-control is also the quiet architect of long-term success. It shows up in the small decisions, the choice to work instead of procrastinate, to listen instead of speak, to resist temporary pleasure for permanent progress. These may seem minor in the moment, but they compound over time, building habits, character, and results that others admire but rarely understand. It is not about suppression, nor is it about becoming emotionless. It is about channeling your energy into what matters most. It is about holding your composure when everything tries to shake it, staying on your path when distractions tempt you to drift, and remembering that true power is never loud or chaotic. It is calm, intentional, and completely in command of itself. What you see is not always it is what you believe it to be. Your perception acts as a lens, filtering every experience, every challenge, every interaction. And that lens determines the quality of your life far more than the events themselves. Two people can face the same situation. One sees defeat, the other sees opportunity. One sees a closed door, the other sees a challenge to find another way in. The only difference is perception. Perception shapes your emotional response. If you perceive a delay as a setback, frustration and doubt creep in. But if you perceive that same delay as preparation, you wait with patience and purpose. When you shift your perception, you shift your power. You begin to realize that most of the battles you fight are not with the world, but with your interpretation of it. You must learn to ask yourself in every difficult moment, what else could this mean? Because meaning creates emotion, and emotion drives behavior. If you assign a meaning of growth to your pain, it strengthens you. If you assign a meaning of punishment, it weakens you. The facts don't change, but the meaning does, and with it your entire response. Perception is not a passive process. It's a conscious choice. It's a decision to view life through a lens that empowers rather than diminishes. And this choice is yours to make moment by moment. The strongest individuals are not those who face easier paths. They are those who choose better interpretations. They've trained their minds to find the seed of benefit in every difficulty, to see beyond the surface of what's happening and to ask themselves how this situation can serve them, even when it hurts. When you understand that perception is reality, you stop waiting for the world to change and start changing the way you see the world. You stop giving your peace away to events and instead take ownership of how you experience those events. You begin to realize that you don't need to escape your reality. You need to redefine it from the inside out. Reaction is instinctive. It's raw, immediate, and often driven by emotion. It comes from a place of survival, not strategy. It's the raised voice when you feel challenged, the impulse to retaliate when you feel wronged, the rush of action without the wisdom of reflection. To react is to surrender your power to the moment, to let the situation dictate your behavior rather than letting your principles guide your response. But to respond is entirely different. To respond is to pause. It is to take a breath in the heat of the moment and remember who you are and what you stand for. A response is deliberate, measured, and chosen, not just felt. It acknowledges the emotion but refuses to be ruled by it. It takes into account the bigger picture, the long game, and the consequences that follow. The gap between stimulus and response is where power lives. In that space, you find clarity. You find control. You give yourself the opportunity to rise above the chaos and act in alignment with your purpose, not your pride. It is in that pause that leaders are made, relationships are preserved, and progress is maintained. That pause is the mark of emotional intelligence, of maturity, of someone who is not governed by circumstance, but guided by vision. Responding doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting others walk over you or ignoring injustice. It means standing firm with wisdom rather than striking out with recklessness. It means choosing the response that serves your future rather than satisfying a fleeting feeling in the present. The one who responds holds the frame. They influence the energy of the room instead of absorbing it. In every moment of tension, there is a fork in the road. One path leads to reaction, a fire that burns everything in its path. The other leads to response, a calm force that redirects the energy and channels it into something productive, something lasting, something aligned with your ultimate goals. Unshakable confidence is not loud, arrogant, or boastful. It is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. It does not rely on applause, approval, or attention. It is built from within, formed in silence, and proven under pressure. This kind of confidence isn't about always knowing the answer. It's about trusting yourself to figure it out, no matter the situation. It's the inner voice that says, I can handle this, even when the odds seem against you. This confidence comes from experience, yes, but more than that, it comes from intention. It is cultivated by the daily decisions you make, the disciplines you uphold when no one is watching, the risks you take when there is no guarantee, the promises you keep to yourself even when it's difficult. Each of these moments is a brick in the foundation of your inner strength. Unshakable confidence does not pretend that fear doesn't exist. It simply refuses to be controlled by it. It's the decision to walk through fear, not because you're fearless, but because you've trained yourself to act despite the fear. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move forward anyway. It's choosing courage over comfort, clarity over confusion, commitment over hesitation. This kind of confidence is immune to the judgment of others because it does not come from their validation. It comes from knowing who you are, what you're capable of, and what you've already overcome. It's forged in failure and refined in persistence. You've faced storms before and you've emerged stronger. You've been underestimated, overlooked, and doubted, but you kept going, and that track record becomes your proof. Unshakable confidence allows you to stay grounded in chaos, to speak with authority without aggression, and to lead without needing to dominate. It enables you to take criticism without crumbling and face uncertainty without panic. When others are shaken by circumstances, you remain anchored because your belief in yourself does not waver with the winds of opinion or the noise of the world. Detachment is not indifference. It is mastery. It is the ability to remain centered while the world around you shifts. It is the discipline of holding your peace when outcomes are uncertain and circumstances are beyond your control, To detach from external circumstances means you no longer allow the outside world to dictate your inner world. You stop letting temporary events write permanent scripts in your mind. When you live attached to outcomes, you become a slave to them. If things go well, you feel elated. If they don't, you feel defeated. Your emotional state becomes a yo-yo, controlled by forces you can't command. But when you develop detachment, you take back your power. You recognize that while you can influence the process, you do not need to cling to the results to feel fulfilled or worthy. Detachment is not about giving up. It's about showing up fully, giving your best, and then letting go of the need to control every result. It's about investing yourself in effort and excellence, not in anxiety over what might happen next. You become like the seasoned warrior who trains with complete focus, enters the battle prepared but does not lose sleep over the outcome because he knows he's done everything in his power. When you detach from the chaos of the world, you become grounded in something stronger. Your values, your mission, your mindset. You stop chasing external validation and start cultivating internal stability. You no longer need the environment to be perfect in order to remain calm, focused, and effective. Whether you're praised or criticized, ahead or behind, winning or learning, you remain steady, not because the world is calm, but because you are. This mindset frees you. It allows you to move through challenges without being emotionally hijacked. You're no longer reacting to every up and down, no longer needing things to go your way in order to feel at peace. You learn to stand firm in the storm, to be present in the process, and to trust that the results will align with the energy and effort you consistently bring. Focus is the gatekeeper of achievement. It is the ability to direct all your energy, attention, and intention toward one purpose without being pulled off course by distraction or doubt. In a world that constantly competes for your attention, focus becomes a superpower, an invisible force that separates the average from the exception. The mind that is scattered is ineffective, but the mind that is focused becomes a laser, cutting through complexity, burning through barriers, achieving what once seemed impossible. Focus sharpens your actions. It takes the overwhelming and makes it manageable. It transforms big dreams into small steps and allows you to move with clarity instead of chaos. It eliminates the noise, the opinions, the irrelevant, so that all that remains is what matters most. And when you consistently place your attention on what matters most, progress becomes inevitable. The power of focus is not just about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's choosing depth over breadth, commitment over convenience, quality over quantity. It's having the discipline to say no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's necessary. Focus is the act of aligning your daily actions with your highest intentions and refusing to be swayed by temporary temptations that don't serve your long-term vision. When you are focused, you are difficult to distract. You don't chase every opportunity, you evaluate it. You don't respond to every demand, you prioritize. You don't allow urgency to override importance. You move with purpose, and that purpose creates momentum. It gives your efforts direction and allows you to make faster decisions, take smarter actions, and produce greater results with less wasted motion. Focus also builds confidence. When you direct your energy toward a single aim and begin to see tangible progress, belief grows. You begin to trust your ability to execute. You develop consistency, and from consistency comes mastery. The more you focus, the more you grow. The more you grow, the less noise can shake you, the less failure can stop you, and the less doubt can reach you. Emotional resilience is the armor of the mind. It's the strength that allows you to bend without breaking, to absorb the shock of life's unexpected hits without letting them define you. It is not about pretending that pain doesn't exist or that disappointment doesn't sting. It's about having the internal fortitude to keep moving forward in spite of them. It's the quiet courage to rise again when everything in you wants to retreat. This resilience is forged in discomfort. It is built in moments when you're stretched, tested, and pushed beyond what you thought you could handle. And each time you get back up, each time you refuse to let a setback become your story, you reinforce a deeper sense of strength within yourself. Over time, that strength becomes unshakable. You begin to trust your ability to weather the storm, not because the storm is any less powerful, but because you are more prepared. Emotional resilience is a skill, not a gift. It is developed through repetition, by facing adversity and choosing to learn rather than crumble, by enduring pressure and still acting in alignment with your values. It's the decision to lean into discomfort with the belief that it's shaping you, refining you, preparing you for the next level. Every time you endure something hard and come out stronger, you add another layer of protection to your mindset. Resilience also means mastering the art of recovery. It's not about staying unaffected. It's about how quickly you return to center. When you're resilient, you don't live in your setbacks. You experience them, learn from them, and then let them go. You don't dwell on what went wrong. You focus on what to do next. That flexibility, that ability to bounce back with perspective and purpose, becomes your competitive edge. In building emotional resilience, you train your mind to look for solutions instead of dwelling on problems. You teach yourself to stay grounded in truth rather than swept away by emotion. And in doing so, you develop a kind of inner peace that doesn't waver with the opinions of others or the chaos of circumstances. It holds firm because it was built, not inherited. Positive affirmation is the language of the empowered mind. It is the intentional use of words to shape belief, identity, and behavior. Every thought you think, every phrase you repeat becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-probe. And your self-probe is the thermostat of your performance. You will never rise consistently above the level of belief you hold about who you are and what you can do. Positive affirmations are not empty words spoken into the air. They are mental commands designed to rewire doubt into certainty, fear into confidence, hesitation into action. When used deliberately, affirmations interrupt the negative dialogue that often runs on autopilot in the background of the mind. They replace the inner critic with an inner coach. They remind you, especially in moments of uncertainty, that you are capable, worthy, and in control. Repeating positive affirmations daily is like sharpening your mental tools. It prepares your mind for challenge, for growth, for excellence. You speak the version of yourself you are becoming into existence. Affirmations work because the subconscious mind does not argue, it accepts. It takes what you feed it and looks for proof of it in the world around you. If you constantly affirm that you are overwhelmed, you will notice more stress. If you affirm that you are resourceful and focused, your actions begin to reflect that identity. What you affirm, you attract, not through wishful thinking, but through consistent alignment of thought and behavior. But for affirmations to have power, they must be intentional and emotionally charged. It's not about repeating words mindlessly. It's about saying them with conviction, feeling the truth of them as if they already exist. You don't wait until you're confident to affirm confidence. You speak it until your mind begins to believe it. You don't wait until you're successful to affirm success. You declare it, then back it with action, discipline, and persistence. Positive affirmation is also a daily declaration of control. It's a refusal to let external noise define your internal narrative. It's the decision to program your mind with belief before the world has a chance to program it with fear. It is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools you can use to train your focus, raise your standards, and reshape your reality from the inside out. The law of attraction is the principle that what you focus on, you attract. It is the universal truth that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions send out vibrations into the world, and the world in turn mirrors those vibrations back to you. Everything you experience, both the positive and the negative, begins first in the mind. The energy you project, consciously or unconsciously, shapes the experiences you draw into your life. At its core, the law of attraction suggests that like attracts like. If you think abundantly, you open the door to abundance. If you think of lack and limitation, you draw more of it into your experience. This is not magic or wishful thinking. It is the law of nature, operating consistently and universally. Your thoughts are not just random impulses. They are creative forces. They have power. When you align your thoughts with your goals, your desires, and your highest vision, the universe aligns with you. The law of attraction is based on the idea that you are a magnet, And your thoughts and feelings are the signals that magnetize the world around you. When your inner state is in harmony with the life you wish to create, you begin to attract opportunities, people, and circumstances that match your vibration. This process is constant, whether you're aware of it or not, but it becomes exponentially powerful when you consciously direct your focus. But it's not just about thinking positively, it's about truly feeling the energy of what you desire. It's one thing to think, I want success, but it's another thing to embody the feelings of success in the present moment. The law of attraction works when your thoughts and emotions are in alignment with your desires. You must feel the joy, gratitude, and fulfillment as if you already have what you seek. Your energy must be a match to the reality you want to create. Moreover, this law requires faith. Faith that what you focus on will come to you in the right way and at the right time. It's not about controlling the outcome. It's about trusting the process and releasing the need to micromanage how your desires manifest. This trust is the key. When you let go of resistance, when you stop doubting that your goals are possible, you clear the path for the universe to bring them to you effortlessly. The law of attraction is not a passive process. It's not enough to simply wish for something and wait for it to appear. You must take inspired action. You must act in alignment with the energy you wish to attract. If you want abundance, you must act abundantly, not just in how you think, but in how you behave, how you show up in the world, and how you approach opportunities. It's the energy you carry in your thoughts, your words, and your actions that magnetizes the world to deliver your desires. By becoming intentional with your energy, you step into your power. You begin to recognize that you are not at the mercy of the world around you. You are the creator of your own experience. And when you understand the power of the law of attraction, you realize that everything you need to bring your dreams into reality is already within you, waiting to be aligned with your thoughts and actions. In conclusion, mastering the principles that shape our lives, whether it's acting as if nothing bothers you, cultivating unshakable confidence, or harnessing the power of focus, requires intention and awareness. Every choice you make, every thought you entertain, and every belief you hold has the potential to transform your reality. By adopting a mindset of resilience, detachment, and self-restraint, you empower yourself to navigate life's challenges with grace and purpose. The law of attraction further emphasizes the importance of aligning your internal world with your external desires. When you focus your energy on what you want rather than what you fear, when you trust in the process and take inspired action, you begin to attract opportunities, success, and growth. Positive affirmations and emotional resilience act as powerful tools in this journey, helping to reshape your thoughts and reinforce your belief in your own potential. Remember, true power lies not in controlling every external circumstance, but in mastering your inner world. It is in your thoughts, your actions, and your energy that you create the life you want. The world will reflect back to you the energy you send out. So choose wisely, live with purpose, and trust that when you align your mind, heart, and actions, you will manifest a reality that reflects your highest aspirations.